Thank you for standing by. At this time, all participants are in the listen-only mode. During the Q&A session, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star one on your phone. Now I'd like to turn the meeting over to Mr. Andrew Nierenberg. You may begin, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We want to discuss the regulations, development, and sales process that Caltrans is embarking upon for State Route 710 corridor. The draft regulations governing the sales of homes in the State Route 710 corridor will be posted at noon today on the Caltrans headquarters and Caltrans District 7 websites. The Caltrans headquarters website is www.dot.gov/regulations.htm. And the Caltrans District 7 website is www.dot.gov/DIST07/business/710 sales. This will begin the 45-day public comment period. Any interested persons may submit written comments relevant to the proposed regulatory action to Caltrans through email, fax, letter, or participate in a public hearing. This information is available on our websites. The written comment period closes at 5 p.m. on July 14th, 2014. Caltrans will only consider written comments received by that time. Caltrans will also hold evening public hearings to take public comment on July 15th, 2014 at Cal State University, Los Angeles, and on July 17th, 2014 at the Pasadena Convention Center. Based on comments received, we will revise the draft regulations incorporating public input, and then we'll submit the revised regulations to the Office of Administrative Law for anticipated release of final regulations this fall. These regulations will clarify the process for selling these properties in accordance with Roberti law and other statutes. Caltrans has approximately 461 properties on the 710 corridor. We anticipate selling homes in phases. Of these properties, Caltrans has identified approximately 56 properties that are outside the project alternatives that can be sold in the near future. Caltrans is focusing our efforts on selling these homes first. We will begin the process by selling approximately 14 unimproved vacant lots that do not fall under the Roberti law. These properties do not need Roberti regulations in place for Caltrans to sell, so Caltrans does not need to wait for these regulations to be finalized to sell. Once the regulations are adopted, approximately 17 to 19 non-historical homes that are not impacted by the project alternatives will be available to sell. The remaining approximately 25 homes of the initial 56 properties identified are historical. The department has reviewed options to adhere to CEQA requirements and determined that an environmental impact review will be completed to reduce the legal risks associated with the sale of historic property. This EIR is anticipated to be completed in spring 2015, and Caltrans will sell those properties upon completion of this EIR. Of the remaining 400-plus properties, the second phase are properties that are within the scope of remaining project alternatives but can still be sold. The final phase of properties to be sold will be properties declared excess after completion of the approved preferred project alternative in the SR 710 North Study environmental document. We want to note that the project's draft EIR is also expected to be completed next spring. The date of completion for the project's final EIR is to be determined. The EIR will help further define which properties could be sold in that second phase. Current law provides the order for who may purchase single-family homes and multifamily homes. The regulations are consistent with current law on this issue. While this regulation development and comment period is occurring, District 7 will post a website, www.ca.gov/DIST07/business/710 sales, and establish a phone line at 213-897-8184, staffed with bilingual staff to assist the public in understanding their options in sales. The department is sending information regarding the process and the regulations to tenants. Caltrans is committed to keeping the public informed as the sales process moves forward. Caltrans wants this process as transparent and inclusive as possible, so we appreciate the public's input and your support as we develop these regulations. Thank you for your interest as we develop these important regulations and for participating today. And now I will take any questions.
The phone lines are now open for questions. If you'd like to ask a question, please press star 1. If you'd like to withdraw your question, press star 2. Thank you. Once again, if you would like to ask a question, please press star 1. Your line is now open.
Hi, good afternoon. I have a really quick question that's a little long-winded, so I hope you can be a little patient with me. And my question is, some of the terms that are being used, even in this conference call and up until now and in all the documents that have been distributed, they're a little convoluted. And I'm a college instructor, so I can imagine people that are don't have as much experience or maybe not as much education might be very confused. And so I wonder, this hotline is supposed to be put up to help assist people to understand. I'm certainly going to be one of those people who's going to call, because one of the questions I have is in reading all the documents, I'm not really sure where I fit in. Like, what happens? I'm a college instructor. My income is just above the 2-person household HUD income guidelines. I've been renting years. I'm a full-time, single mother of a child with special needs. What happens to us? Where do I fall in, and when and how would I be able to purchase our home? And so I feel like one of the things that's really important for people with information in layman's terms, really simplified, what are the addresses, how much will they be sold for, and prices and dates, just really simple so that we can understand. And then more information for someone like myself that doesn't fall within the income guidelines. When and how would I be able to purchase or have a shot at purchasing our home? That's the extent of my question.
Okay. To try and address that within the confines of the information I have available, the affordable housing price that you mentioned, that you fall over that amount, for each person, the tenant should apply under Roberti law. It's there's a class and still under affordability for 150% of median income under Roberti. So it's above the 120%. And each person, particular situation at the time their unit becomes available is important to that issue. I'm not familiar with all the adjustments on the worksheet as it's evolving right now based on these new regulations. So that deals with some of the affordable questions.
Go ahead.
If you've been there, and this is if you've been, all single-family residents should be offered an affordable price or fair market value at buyer's option to present occupants who are in good standing and who've occupied the property 5 years or more and whose household income does not exceed 150% of median income if the present occupants have not had an ownership in real property in the last 3 years. So
here's the question I have. I qualify under everything except for the 150%. Because 150% of the median income for 2 people is extremely low in the neighborhood I live in.
Right.
So where would
it's for County of Los Angeles. Did you look at the amounts for the County of Los Angeles?
For 2 people, I think it's $50,000. So yeah, it's very.
I don't have that information in front of me.
Okay, so I think that's the issue. Like I've got in one number says 54, another number says 78, another one says 60. So I think we just need like one go-to sheet that says this is what Caltrans is going to adhere to, these numbers, because it seems like there are several numbers out there. You've given numbers. I've gone online and seen other numbers through HUD. So I'm not really sure. I got the sheet that you're using. I have that.
Okay, they're HUD numbers, but they're on the HCD website.
But as you said, those numbers based on adjustments are changing. So when will we know what those numbers actually are?
As part of the information line, we will make available the website for HCD and the proper page information when we know that it's the current. When I view and make sure the current one, I'll make sure staff has that available, because I believe it's higher than you're stating.
I hope so.
I do believe it's higher than you're stating.
No, so that might be a possibility. So my question is, let's just say I still don't qualify. Let's pretend. Let's say it's because I think last time I looked at it, I made $3,000 over what the limit was of the 150% calculation. So for making $3,000 over, what does that mean? Does that mean that a property investment company has the right to purchase the home before I do?
It can be offered to an affordable property entity.
Before it would be offered.
And then you would be offered it at
so
the.
That is, I believe that is extremely unjust. So what could we do to make sure that doesn't happen to someone like myself who, if I had, if I had additional children or additional family members, I would probably qualify with no problems, but it's just me and my son. I'm a single mother. I make the income for, literally the 2 of us. And, what would we do for a situation like that? I've lived there for 12 years. I've invested so much time, energy, money. I've done a lot of. Where does that leave someone like me? I think it would be extremely unjust if a property company had rights to purchase that home before I would.
All I can say is during this comment period or at the public hearings, you should submit that in writing or state that for the record.
So I did the very last time we had a public comment meeting back in the Senior Center El Sereno. So I'll be sure to make sure that I am available at the public hearings for Cal State LA and the Pasadena Convention Center. It just seems like nothing has been done since I've made the comment, and I'm not the only one in that situation.
Right, and you can make that comment in writing as well during this period now till July 14th.
The next question is from Roberto Flores. Your line is now open.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think one question that a lot of folks have is that these calculations are based on gross income, and I'm not sure if that's it's 100% of median income. Are you calculating your gross income or your net income?
I do believe it's your gross income.
Yeah, because like in the situation of the person that just spoke before me. There's a lot of cost involved in her taking care of her child with special needs. And, that's, I think adds to, the sense of fairness. The other question that I have is why this format? Why the late notice?
We've done the best we can to get this out in a timely fashion so we can provide this conference today before the posting at noon. It's taken a lot of time to formulate these regulations.
because you practically eliminate. I mean, more than half of the folks that are working is a work day, work time for many people, and so it's a very limited, a limited venue, a limited format. But so
we did send all the tenants, and we did send all of the stakeholders that we've identified from past hearings the information so they can access the websites and the phone numbers during this 45-day period, and of course the 2 public hearings.
Right. Is this by mail?
Yes. All of the tenants received, a mailing went out yesterday to all of our residents.
And then, I guess this is a question that'll be ongoing and disputed, but this whole thing of the CEQA and environmental impact studies necessary for sales. Can you explain that a little bit more? Because I don't understand the necessity of that.
From my discussion with the Deputy of Environmental Planning in the district and the Environmental Planning Division in Sacramento, the impact of putting 460 properties on the market is defined under CEQA guidelines as an impact that requires an environmental impact report, especially when a number of that component are historic properties. And it has to be addressed in terms of how they're going to be marketed, is there any type of plan for their continuing to remain viable historic assets? All of these things have to be addressed in the study. And we've had consultation from numerous attorneys on just this very issue.
Okay, now, we just, several months ago, we received adjustments in our appraisals, a so-called a new appraisal of our properties, and an adjustment on many of the appraisals. Some of them went down, and some of them stayed the same, and some of them went up. Now, you're talking about a different appraisal process, right? Before the sale?
Oh yes, there will be, and it's in the information packet. There's a separate appraisal process that will occur prior to the sales. What you're referring to is the rental rate valuation process. There will have to be an appraisal process of valuing the properties, both prior to their sale, because those documents are presented to CPC.
Now, I sent in a request to have a work meeting concerning what we think are discrepancies or errors,
and a written response to your request is forthcoming.
Okay, that's all I have for now.
All right, thank you.
The next question is from Lynn Miller. Your line is now open.
Hi, Andy. Just a couple quick questions.
Good morning, Lynn.
Hi. Can you tell us who's on this conference call besides those who have just heard?
I don't know everyone who's in attendance.
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Who's this?
I'm speaking now, and I only know when I get a question that is put through by the operator.
Can you hear me, Andy? Did I lose you?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll go to the next one. Is it possible to get a copy of the remarks you made before the question period?
I will check on that.
Okay. And the third thing is, can you repeat the numbers and the internet addresses you gave us, the phone numbers? I'm old and I couldn't write that fast.
Okay. The phone number for our phone line information line is 213-897-8184. The website for the district is dist/business/710 sales.
And sales. Okay.
You know something? I'm looking at this. It actually, just one second. / or a backslash? Oh, excuse me. / It's not backslash. Forgive me.
Where? Which ones?
On the website address, on all of them. It's a / Now, these addresses are in the documents we have sent out to all of the residents and to the emails that have gone to all of the stakeholders, and they list these websites numerous places. Hello?
Okay. I got you. I hear you.
Okay.
All right. Next question.
It's different situations for different qualifications.
Okay.
Up to 120% of median income is 2 years,
All right.
at least. For somebody to be considered at 150%, they have to be 5 years, and there's no 3-year period.
Can you buy the house outright then? Are there provisions for buying the house outright at fair market?
The buying outright at fair market is offered to tenants, existing tenants, after, if they didn't qualify as affordable, after it's offered to affordable housing entities. Or it's a choice to purchase as is by affordable tenants. They have that choice.
A choice to purchase and
Choice to purchase as is.
buy affordable tenants.
Yes.
That's this. Okay.
And all of this is in the brochures that have been sent out today.
Okay. Okay, very important to us. Thank you. But any affordable housing for existing tenants, affordable housing for existing tenants who don't qualify.
Correct.
And is there a time frame on that process? Will it be years or?
No. There are time frames suggested in the legislation, or rather, in the regulations. There are time frames suggested.
What's the longest time frame they have? I mean, are people going to have to get ready to get out that have been renting for a while and don't qualify?
No, they're not going to have to get ready to get out. Even sales to an affordable housing entity will be subject to current tenancies.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. All right. Thank you. You gave me a lot of information. Thanks a lot. Thanks for all your help, too.
Okay, I've been given the 3-minute high sign. So I have 3 minutes.
The next question is from Clyde Williams. Your line is now open.
Hello, my name is Dr. Clyde Williams. I'm a resident of El Sereno for 30 years, and I did not get any notification of anything regarding this or this proposed fields
Hey,
regulation.
would you like notification, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to give me your address?
Well, at the same time,
Or you can call our information line at 213-897-8184 and request the mail package.
okay. Also, so far, it's not the web addresses that you gave are not active yet.
They'll be active at noon.
At noon. Okay. Thank you.
The next question is from Alejandro Martinez. Your line is now open.
I have a question regarding when the properties are going to be offered
through an RFP process to affordable housing developers. Timing and whether that's going to include the single family and the multifamily. And then the last question is there going to be an opportunity to do a bulk sale if Caltrans has a variety of homes, or is it going to be an RFP process for one home?
It will be an RFP process to the affordable housing entities. And I don't have any further information as to timing, but it will be single family and multifamily dwellings. If they are in a position to be offered in the RFP process.
Okay. But you don't know if...
I have no timing on that.
No, in terms of bulk sales, will it just be one property at a time?
We don't do a bulk sale. We would do auction properties at the end at fair market value. That would be the absolute last step to the general public.
Right, again, but it's not going to be we can't offer to buy 10, 20, 30 of them. It would have to be
not unless they're in an RFP.
Okay. That was it.
The next question is from Colin Jones. Your line is now open.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I'd like to know how former tenants in good standing can register to receive notices and register to be included in the process.
You can contact 213-897-8184 and request a mail package and have your name added, request that your name be added to any informational lists.
Thank you.
I'm showing no further questions at this time.
Thank you, and thank you, Ted. Thank you all for calling in, and our time is up.
This concludes today's conference. Thank you for your participation. You may disconnect.